Do you feel like you suck at Apex Legends?
No, dude, why did it open the door?
Do you feel like your teammates are holding you back?
My banner! Get my banner!
Are you tired of doing all the damage for everybody else, but nobody else helping you out? Or do you just need a little boost, some tips to help you get to your next rank up? Well, if you've answered yes to any of these questions, then this is the perfect video for you. By the time you're done with this video, you're gonna wake up pissing excellence.
Well, I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff.
So the first thing I'm going to be telling you guys is you gotta use those grenades. Sky nades are absolutely powerful on this game, and they can get you free knocks like these ones, or just a ton of damage for your team to go in and start to take a push. You can also take high ground this way. Now, tip number 2 is to play your knockdown shield. Now, this may seem obvious to some players, but to some people, it just really isn't. When you're down, put your knockdown shield up so that your teammate can play it, and make sure you call it for them, because if they don't know your knockdown's up, they might not play it, and that might cost you a game. Another thing you can do when you're knocked down is open the door on the enemies. Let's say an opponent knocks you in a building and locks you in there, but he's batting or something like that on that door. You can call out for your teammate that you're going to open the door on him so that your teammate can kill him on the other side of it. Same concept on the other side of the door. You can actually just block the door, not let them open it, and then your teammate can kill him from the other side. And the next tip I want to give you for the knockdown shield is actually to put your knock down. Okay, now I know that might sound completely contradictory to what I said before. You're like, what the fuck, man? Like, you said that this was gonna happen, but now you're lying to me, dude. Well, hear me out. Let's say your opponent starts to play your knockdown shield against your teammate. It's probably a good idea for you to put it down so that your teammate can actually get shots on the opponent other than your knockdown shield, because then nothing's gonna happen and the fight has just been a big waste of time. And the last tip when it comes to knockdown shields is that you can also block grenades for your teammates as they come in. So if you ever see a grenade come in, tell your teammate to stop resing you so that you can block that grenade for them and possibly survive that way. Because if you don't, this just might happen to you.
Someone look over there. Yes, look over that red bar. Oh my god. I just shot the med team. Didn't have shield out. Careful. Take cover.
Hide the bat.
Put him down. Put him in a coffin.
Now this next tip may be obvious to some, but absolutely game-changing to others. You can press your inventory button to cancel out of a death box for a faster armor swap. Okay, so the next tip is armor swap after team wipes until you know you're safe. If you don't know you're safe, you should not be looting up ammo, attachments, etc. You should only be grabbing an armor swap and making sure that everything around you is completely safe. If you see a blue shield but you have an empty red, swap that shit. An empty red is going to do absolutely nothing when a team rolls up on you and just beams you for 100 flesh. But if you've got 175 HP thanks to that blue shield, you might actually be able to survive that situation, win the fight, pick your red back up after, bat it up, and reset fully. If you're on a controller, press the button to go into the death box, then start to jump while the button is loading, and you'll end up in the death box while in the air, allowing you to jump while looting. Another tip that I see pro players use often, but not very many lower elo players use, is to reload before you pop a heal. Because if you ever need to cancel a heal, but your gun is completely empty, then you're dead. But if you've got at least a few bullets in there to be able to shoot the enemy, you may even survive, or at least do enough damage for your teammates to come and wipe that player up, and then revive you after. Now, a lot of the older players are going to know about this, but you can open loot pills to use them as vertical cover. Gunfire often hides the sound of footsteps in Apex, so you should be using this to your advantage. Because the audio is very poor, if you hear two teams fighting, it might be a good idea to crouch behind them and sneak up so that you can get a free one clip. But be careful when doing this, because if they do end up hearing you, you might have a one-way ticket back to the lobby. Another tip that you may not realize, but it should be pretty obvious to some players, is you need to play to the strength of the crafting rotation. Let's say it's Digi Day. You might want to have a Bangalore on your team, as well as all of your teammates running SMGs with Digis, so that you can abuse that strategy. If it's Gold Bolt Day, maybe think about picking up a PK, because even if you don't craft the Gold Bolt, I'm sure somebody else did, and you're going to have a real good time being able to slide around and almost infinitely shoot that motherfucker. Alright, so this next tip is actually an aim tip, and it doesn't matter what rank you are. You could be rookie or you could be a pred. This tip definitely applies to you, and if you're already a predator, you're probably already using this, but make sure you are centering your shots when you take them. And by this, I don't mean your crosshair. I mean try to center your opponent on your screen. The more you focus on your opponent being on the middle of your screen, the much easier it's going to be for you to actually control your recoil and move around while you fight. And being able to move around while you fight while having your enemy centered, well, when you infinitely more gunfights than what you're probably winning already. The next tip I'm going to be giving is use your ultimate, man. I'm so tired of seeing my teammates have their fucking Wraith portal the entire game when we could have used it to teleport between building to building when we needed it, or even possibly use a kidnap at some point. Or how about the Octane who never pads after you cracked 2 of the enemies or even got a knock? It's just ridiculous. Use your ult when you're supposed to. If you play a legend, go watch a YouTube video on how to play your legend. I just don't get it. We are like 5 years into the game's lifespan at this point. If you don't know how to play your legend, get off of him in ranked. Now, another tip I'm going to be giving is actually when you end up stuck in Storm. Let's say by the off chance one of your teammates does have a gold knockdown shield, or one of your teammates has a gold shield. You can use those to get back into circle and save on resources. The gold shield player can trade it around so that you guys can use syringes, and the gold knock player can res you guys as you go into Storm so that you have more HP than you would with a regular syringe. You can use the tridents to jump off the map and get yourself a little mini Valkyrie to help you rotate a little bit easier.
That worked a little bit at least.
Now this tip is going to be kind of annoying. You've probably heard this a lot, but it's play meta legends if you're having a hard time. Like, as much as it may be annoying to play Seer and Catalyst, if you need that to get the RP, you may want to play it. Other people may hate you, but hey, it's you. You're looking for RP. Who cares what happens, right? And now the next step is going to be extremely contradictory to the last one, but it's play off meta legends, because they can actually throw off the other teams. They'll think that you're dog shit if you're running a fuse, but if you're a good player and actually know how to play fuse effectively, you can shit on a lot of people. So use that to your advantage if you know you have the mechanics to do it. Follow your teammates if they make a mistake. Now, I know you solo queue players may be out there like, yo, this is hella annoying. Every time I hop into a game, I've just got teammates who just want to push everything, or I've got teammates who just want to sit back. Well, you know, just make those mistakes with them, because it's better for you to be as a team of 3 people than for you to let your teammates make those mistakes and then you be off by yourself. Because if you're by yourself, you may die, and if they're both together, you can't rely on them to win the gunfight by themselves. You've got to be there, so make sure you're with them. If you want to minimize the mistakes that your teammates make, you may want to think of taking on the role as IGL. Taking on the role of IGL might sound scary at first, but trust me, once you do it for a couple games, you'll start to get more comfortable and you'll understand what is a good call and what is a bad call. And when you're the one making those calls, the only person making a mistake possibly can be you, unless your teammates just get damage diffed or something like that. But regardless, you'll start to win a lot more games if you're the one taking charge. Here's a clip of me teaching my silver friend who hasn't played in a long time, as well as a random, how to win in an endgame situation. Lose all of their cover by the time the circle closes to here, but we still have like all of it, so we could just use the rev ult then, and then force a fight onto them. Now what I basically just told my teammates was to calm down a little bit because my Revenant wanted to use his ult and make a push, but we already knew that the Loba on the right side was a solo because we killed 2 of our teammates earlier. We also knew that the other 2 teammates were behind a wall and had to come out because of circle, so if we just played for them to push out, we would have a much better chance of winning this game. Yep. I knocked him. So because I made the call earlier for my Revenant not to use his ult, he's waiting on my call for him to use it. Now it's my turn to call to action. Ult, Rev ult. We go in on this. I'm bubbing on it.
Right here.
I hit the Loba on the right side. 1 HP. GG.
Nice.
The next tip I'm going to give you is don't be afraid of Storm. There are crafters all over the place. Storm 1 and 2 barely hurts you whatsoever. So all you got to do is look for a place with a crafter and start getting yourself some medkits so that you can reset back in circle. You don't have to panic if you're in that red. You'll be fine. What if I told you 3 of the weapons you may not think are full auto actually are? The Nemesis, Eva 8, and Mozambique are all full auto weapons. You don't actually have to tap fire them. Tip number 24 comes from my aim guide, which you can find at the top of the video or in the cards at the very end of the video. It'll be there for you to click on, so you don't have to click off right now. But essentially all it is you can hip fire accurately once you've ADS'd. So after you ADS, you can un-ADS to fully hip fire accurately and get some pretty nice one clips while moving around. This tip is for all you Kraber players out there. When you're using the Kraber, you switch weapons faster while running than you do without it. For some reason, the Kraber has an extremely long put away animation, so you can cancel that just by sprinting one step. Tip number 26, play slow when it's top 5 squad. There's no reason for you to go in and fight teams just because you think that it's a safe third party. Most of the time, the 4th or 5th team is just waiting for that exact situation so that they can come clean up the rest of the kills. What you should be doing in a top 5 or top 3 situation is taking pop shots from a distance with long range weapons such as ARs, marksmans, or snipers, while the rest of the teams just fight each other. That way you can get shots off on flesh, crack, and grief other teams so that your placement can go up. Once you reach top 3, what you actually want to do is wait for the other 2 teams to fight. That way, you can third party that fight and take a free win. You should never be in a situation where you and your teammates are fighting with each other. That's where tip number 28 comes in. You want to try to keep the morale up at all times. So if ever you feel burnt out, take a break. It's fine. If you take a 5 to 15 minute, even an hour, 2 hour break a full day, it's not going to affect your rank at all, and it's not going to upset anybody. All it's going to do is reset your mental and have a better time when you hop on the next time. Tip number 29 is to try to bait out your opponent's bullets before you go in. So let's say you're in a situation where you're in a 1v1 at medium to close range against somebody else. What you want to do is try to get some shots off while jiggle peeking the guy so that he can't hurt you very much. But that way, you can reload your gun before he empties out his clip and then slide on him with a full clip while he's reloading. More often than not, this will net you a free win of the fight even if you're at a disadvantage, because the opponent will be caught so off guard that you came in like a crackhead that they just die to it. Now the final tip I actually want to give you guys is to watch players who are better than you, but not insanely better than you. Let's say you're a silver player. I'm gonna be honest with you, watching Imperial Hal play the game is not really going to make you a better player. It might make you have some better game sense, but when it comes to shooting your weapon and stuff like that, that's not really gonna happen. You might want to watch somebody else with a little bit less skill than these players, but that are still high up there, such as diamond players, masters players, etc. Because pro players and predators tend to do things that the average human cannot. However, diamonds and masters players tend to do things that the average human can. So if you can watch them and learn from them, you'll have a much easier time than if you watch pro players. However, if you're at the platinum/diamond level, that's when you should be watching pro players to get better, because by then you know the basics of the game and you'll start to pick up on the little things that the pros do that you can do in your own games, such as windows, holes in the ceiling, and stuff like that. And that's it for my 30 tips today. If you did enjoy this, I have another tips video where I explain 5 in-depth tips on how to rank up fast, as well as an aiming video over here. But other than that, guys, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.